So the last analysis I did on Bitcoin, as I checked the charts, I said I think Bitcoin is heading towards $49,000. I did this analysis I think 3 weeks ago. Bitcoin then was somewhere around I think 80,000. So it was somewhere around 80,000. But today Bitcoin has actually lost 10,000. So Bitcoin is around 70,000. I personally still think it is heading towards 49,000. So let's check the charts and let's see what is happening. So quickly, let's check the monthly. So clearly, on the monthly time frame, you know, this is a bearish candlestick on the monthly time frame. So last month was bearish. So obviously on the monthly, from what we saw, or from getting this bearish candlestick, you know that this month is also likely going to go bearish, right? Now let me just show you all the monthly times we had this candlestick formation. So look at this candlestick formation. Looks a bit like this. What happened during that time? So this was somewhere 2021 November. So November had this bearish candlestick formation. Bitcoin fell, you know, swept this liquidity, right? That's exactly what happened. Now let's go back to the next time we saw a candlestick formation like that was I think December 2024, you know. But even with December 2024, what happened was, when we had that formation, the monthly was in an uptrend, right? But even with that, there was a retracement. Now come to August 2025, what happened? We saw that candle formation, and then the market fell from 124,000, and now we are at, you know, 70,000, right? So basically for me, this candle formation, you know, what this candle formation, what it simply means is price came here, swept this liquidity and closed beneath it. And so if you trade crypto, you know that this is a bearish signal. It means that price is coming back down, right? So immediately, this is the liquidity I think price will be sweeping at 60,000. But from the 60,000 liquidity, where I think liquidity is also resting more, is here, right, which is 49,000. And so for me, this actually confirms, so first price will get to 60,000, and after that I think 49,000. So for me, I think this is a confirmation. As we've entered a new month, this is a confirmation that Bitcoin is going to go down further. So that's from the monthly time frame. Now let's go on the weekly time frame to check the structure and see what is happening. I expect a downtrend. So clearly on the weekly time frame, you are seeing the downtrend, right? So this was the uptrend: higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then failed to break above this higher high. And now we have here broken below this higher low, right? And so this, as you can see right now, is a downtrend on the weekly. So downtrend, we all know, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So right here you can see that on the weekly, price reacted to this breaker block. This is what you call a breaker block. And what happened? Price gave a double bottom on the breaker block. Okay, this is a double, I said double bottom, double top, right? Not a double bottom, double top. So once you see a double top, you know it is a bearish signal on the weekly time frame. So this could also be a bearish engulfing. It is a double top and then also a bearish engulfing, right? So let me just show you you know, bearish engulfing signals. So this is a bearish engulfing candle formation on the weekly. So bearish engulfing candle formation on the weekly means price is, you know, let's read the definition of bearish engulfing, right? It says a bearish engulfing pattern is a 2-candle technical chart formation that signals a potential trend reversal from an uptrend to a downtrend. So as you can see, this came up, bearish engulfing formed, and now it's coming down. So clearly it is a reversal, right? So there's the bearish engulfing. And then also aside it being bearish engulfing, I also see it as a double top candlestick formation. So let's check the double top. This is the pattern. No, I'm looking for the candlestick formation, double top candlestick formation. But on the weekly, if it is a candlestick formation, then clearly on the daily you see it as a pattern. I'm going to explain so you understand, right? Double top candlestick pattern. So this is double top candlestick. I just want the candlestick so you see what's going on. So this is, as I was saying, right, double top. So this is the first top. So this is the pattern, right? Now let me show you why on the weekly double top formation, once you go on the daily, you are likely, or once you go on the 1 hour or 4 hour, you are likely to see it as a pattern. So on the weekly, you are seeing that this is just a candlestick, right? Now let's circle it and then go to, let's say, the 4 hour time frame. Now you are going to see that as a pattern. Okay, so on the 4 hour time frame, this is the candlestick as we saw it to be, right? On the 4 hour time frame, even on the 4 hour time frame, it's not a double top, it's a triple top, which is a big, bearish signal. You know, that means the place has been rejected 3 times, right? So it means the selling pressure over there is quite strong. So this is how you see it on the 4 hour time frame. Now let's check it on the daily time frame. On the daily time frame, that same area, how do you see that same area? So this is how you see it on the daily time frame, right? Just a minute. So this is how you see it on the daily time frame, and if you check it on the daily time frame, you'd see that it has more like head and shoulders pattern, right? And if you are able to check your patterns very well, you know, once you see head and shoulders on the charts, you know what's happening. So basically this confirms what I said. So on the weekly, we've seen that there's a reaction. It has successfully reacted to this breaker block. If you are someone who decides to trade with supports and resistance, right? So this whole area was more like a support. Okay, this area was more like a support. What happened? It broke through the support and then retested. So it's the same concept. If you trade support and resistance, you know on the weekly this was supposed to be a support. Now it came here, bounced back, broke through the support, and once price breaks through support and resistance, what you do is you wait for price to retrace. Okay, so it broke through it, retraced, and then here got rejected, and clearly you expect price to come here, get here, right? So if you are to trade this, now this is what you do. You know that price is obviously heading towards 60,000. If you are to trade this, you know Bitcoin is about to head towards 60,000. So what you do is you go onto your 4 hour time frame, and then you check for bearish point of views, point of interest, right? Not point of view. You check for bearish point of interest to trade. So on the 4-hour time frame, it is clear that the price is in serious bearish trend, right? That's what you see on the 4-hour time frame. So this is the 4-hour time frame. Clearly you are seeing that price is in a serious downtrend. You know, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. So all you could do is you can decide to, you know, be tracing the lower lows, lower highs. So once these lower lows are getting broken, price will always be in, you know, a downtrend, right? Once these lower lows are getting broken, price will always be in a downtrend. So this recent lower low just got broken, right? So what you do, or how to join this trade, is if price is in a downtrend, especially on the 4-hour time frame, what you do is you mark areas of supply. You mark the supply region. That's how I trade. You mark the supply areas. Now, where are supply areas? Supply areas basically are areas where price had a big fall. So for me, I mark my supply areas as the last closed green candlestick before price fell. So this area, you know, is a supply area. So imagine you were trading and then you knew that price has fallen and price was in a downtrend. You mark an area like this. What happened? Price came back, retested the area, and then you take your trade from here, and then you set a target here. So after this area, you know, which other area was a supply area? So as far as price is in a downtrend, all you do on the 4-hour time frame is to mark your supply areas, you know. So after this area, another area I think was a supply area was here, because this candlestick was the last green candlestick before price fell and then broke this structure, you know. So price came back down to break this low, and this area was the last green candlestick formation before price fell to break that structure. So that is your supply region. What happened? Indeed, price came back, broke the structure, and then went back up to retest that area. So once you know price is continuously going to be in a downtrend, all you do is, once you get to this area, you know, there's an effective way of taking a trade. And I'm going to show you the effective way. The effective way is that on the 4-hour, once you've marked this area on the 4-hour, you go on the 15 minutes time frame. Okay, once you've marked that area on the 4-hour, you just go on the 15 minutes time frame, and what you do is you check for pure market structure. You know, pure market structure. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So this is the area we marked on the 4-hour. So as price broke this low and was coming back up, all you check is for market structure. You want price to change direction. So on the 15 minutes, you realize that on the 4-hour, we were having a downtrend, and then we were expecting a retracement. But on the 15 minutes, you realize that the retracement was more like an uptrend, right? So this was a retracement on the 4-hour time frame, but on the 15 minutes, what was happening? Higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, you know, higher high, higher low, and then right here you see that on the 15 minutes time frame, you know, this trend, let's say this was higher high, higher low, okay, and then when price got here at this point, it wasn't able to print above this again. So here was the first rejection. Price got here, got rejected once again, got here, got rejected once again. So you know, the area rejected price 3 different times, right? So right here, you know that after this long red candle, you know that price was definitely going back down. So on the 15-minute time frame, you could have easily taken this trade, and then you would have targeted, this low that you marked, and that's exactly this low that you marked, and that's exactly what happened. Price came back down to break that low. So price is still in a downtrend. What areas are we going to target, right? So for me, another area I'm going to target is, so I've seen that price came here, there was some sort of rejection here, but on the 4-hour time frame, it looks like price is about to break it. So a point of concern will be here. I'll be targeting this area, which is somewhere around 71,000. I think if there will be a retracement, price might retrace to that area, and then another point will be here. So if price decides to retrace through this area, and then this area does not hold, I know the next area that will possibly hold is here on the 4-hour time frame. So all I'll do is mark here and then wait for price to retrace in there, and then once it get there, I'll go on the 15-minute time frame. I'll check for the market structure change from uptrend to downtrend, and I'll just take the trade, and then I'll target the low. It's very simple, right? So this is how you analyze the markets from the monthly. So from the monthly, we know that price this month is likely to be bearish. So if you want to trade Bitcoin, if you want to do anything crypto this month, okay, June, if you want to do anything crypto, you should be looking for shorts. You should be selling, right? I mean, if you are trading, yes, you should be shorting the market, but if you are accumulating, these are times you need to buy them. These are times you need to buy, especially in 2026. 2026 is an opportunity for you to get into the market, right? Now let me show you something. For people who are just investors, okay, let me just show you something. If you are not a trader and you are just an investor, this is an opportunity for you to get into the market. So you see, the market has, technically the market has just two attitudes, and I want people to understand this. Technically, the market, it has two forms, and this is for crypto, this is for stocks, this is for whatever is tradable, for gold, for silver, copper, whatever is tradable, right? Forex and all that. The market has two faces. Now, whenever the market goes up, it will fall, but whenever the market falls, it goes back up to recover, no matter how hard the market will fall. So this was 2021 April. Market went this high. In the same April, by July, right? By 2021 July, the market fell this hard. In 2021, by November, the markets went back up and broke above the high it got to in April. What happened? Around 2022, the market fell hard, broke below the July the July low. Right? Now, someone who has probably placed his or her money in Bitcoin will be thinking, my money is gone. Maybe someone bought at this level. The person thought that the market was about to go high. So this is 2021, the market got to 69,000. Someone might think, 69,000, my money is gone. No, 69,000. The person might be thinking, 69,000, the market is going to go up, so let me buy. And then the person who puts their monies into Bitcoin. Now, what happened the next year was Bitcoin went back down to 14,000. So from 69,000 to 14,000. Imagine the amount of money you lose. Now, at that point, I know this might sound counterintuitive, but at that point, you don't sell. you buy more. What happened? Those who sold when their money reduced from $69,000 to $14,000, for those who sold, see what happened. From 2022 to 2024, 2 years, the market went back up to 72,000. The market went back up to 72,000. So within 2 years, if you decided not to sell and you just accumulated Bitcoin, you would have made a lot of money. So for those who sold, thinking that they bought at 69,000 and then the market went to 14,000, so they've lost money and so they sold, they've lost forever. But if you decided to keep your money in there and then you just bought more Bitcoin every single month, the market went back up to 72,000. Now from 72,000, what happened? The market came back down to 49,000. The same 49,000 I'm thinking the market will get to right now. You know, the market came back down to 49,000. And probably maybe when the market got to 72,000, people were like, hey, let me buy. And some people bought at that time, but the market came back to 49,000. And those people might be thinking, we've lost a lot of money, close to 50%. Let me sell my Bitcoin and take the rest of the money. For those who sold at that point, what happened? Just within 2024 to that same 2024, between April to August, the market rose from 49,000 to 106,000. So you see, so just within that year, those who sold at this point, they lost on all these gains. And so when the market got to 106,000, I'm sure people were like, the market is going to go back up. So what happened? Some people bought at this point, and then the market fell to 74,000. And they might be thinking, I've lost money. Let me take my money out. Immediately they took their money out. The market went back up to 126,000. And I'm sure people were like, 126, let me buy. So I know a lot of people who bought at 126,000. And now the market has gotten to 70,000. That is close to 50% loss. And so they might be thinking, and so if they invested, let's say $1,000 today, they are seeing just around $500 or $600 in their account. So they might be thinking, I've lost money. Let me just withdraw. And then I personally think that the market will get to 49,000. But if there's one thing that the market has been consistent enough with, is the fact that it has shown us, it is showing us that anytime it gets up, it comes back down and then goes above the previous point it got to. That's exactly what the market is showing us right now. And so once you know this and you can take advantage of this, I kid you not, you'd make a lot of money from the market. And so you don't even need to learn how to do analysis or how to trade the market. Just look at the weekly time frame and see what is happening to the market. So whenever the market gets to, whenever the market is coming down, you are happy because it is an opportunity for you to make money. Once you understand this, you are happy whenever the market is coming down because it is always going to close above the highest points. So you will always be happy when the market is coming down. So if you want to buy Bitcoin, this is not the time for you to be selling. I personally think that if you feel you've lost money in Bitcoin, this is the time for you to be buying more. And this is not only with Bitcoin. It happens with stocks, happens with everything that is tradable on the market, with cocoa, whatever. This is how the market moves. So be happy. This is the time you need to accumulate more. But as I'm speaking to you now, I'm expecting Bitcoin to get to 60,000. At this point, it looks like there's nothing that's going to stop Bitcoin from getting to that particular point. But yes, let me know your thoughts on that in the comments box.